Tonight, MLB Network presents All-Time Games. Game 5 of the 1956 World Series. Larsen's perfect game. A perfect first pitch for this MLB Network. Hi, everybody. I'm Bob Costas, and welcome to MLB Network Studio 42, named in honor of Jackie Robinson. Let's turn back the clock to October 8, 1956. The scene is Yankee Stadium. The World Series is tied 2 games apiece. The defending champion Brooklyn Dodgers against their perennial World Series rivals, the New York Yankees. It turns out to be one of the final games of Jackie Robinson's career. He's alongside Pee Wee Reese, Duke Snider, Roy Campanella, all the fabled Brooklyn boys of summer, against Mickey Mantle, Yogi Berra, Billy Martin, and the rest of Casey Stengel's Bronx Bombers. Now, prior to tonight, all you've seen of this game are film clips of the last out and maybe a few other plays. But tonight, for the first time anywhere, we show you the entire game. Minus the first inning, that is, because for some reason nobody seems to know exactly where that went, but we do have it from the second inning on. It's a kinescope, which was essentially a film made of the live black and white telecast of the game. And throughout this presentation, we'll hear firsthand from Yogi Berra, the all-time great Yankee catcher who caught the game, and the pitcher, Don Larsen, who had his once-in-a-lifetime moment.
All eyes here at Yankee Stadium are on Don Larsen, who has been brilliant. Strike 3 call.
Larsen was the last guy you would think that would pitch a perfectly. He never had what you would call a winning record.
Larsen has gone through the first 9 men in order.
We had a lot of pride on that Brooklyn ball club.
He has retired 18 men in a row.
We just didn't want to be no-hit, especially in a World Series.
21 men in a row.
He came into the dugout, Larsen did, and he sat next to Mickey.
He said, wouldn't it be something if I pitched a no-hitter? And I said, come on, man, get out of here.
24 consecutive batters.
When he'd get a guy out, boy, they'd roar.
Mantle digging hard, still going, still going. Great catch! How about that?
To the last batter, we thought somebody was going to get a hit.
And now there is 1 strike left. Yankee Stadium shivering in its concrete foundation right now. Let's all take a deep breath.
So here they are, the battery for the Yankees that fateful day, October 8, 1956, at Yankee Stadium. Don Larsen and Yogi Berra, and just like that day in the Bronx, the grandstand is full here, although I notice fewer snap-brimmed hats and no swirl of cigar smoke like in the ballparks in the old days. It was old hat for the Yankees and Dodgers to meet in the World Series in those days. This was the 38th World Series game between the Dodgers and the Yankees in the preceding 10 years, and you'd been in all of them.
Well, I've been in all of them, yeah. And I'm glad I was.
Including Bill Bevan's near no-hitter in 1947. Now, he walked 10 guys, so the furthest thing from a perfect game, but he was within 1 out, right?
1 out. Cookie Lamberget pinch hit and hit a double, and we got beat 3-2.
So here we are, Game 5. The Dodgers had won the first 2 games at Ebbets Field. Yankees come back, win games 3 and 4. You had started Game 2 and lasted an inning and a third. Right?
Right. I was ahead 6-0 too. I got a little wild in case you didn't like that. Well, I didn't like it either. I was a little upset. You know, I didn't think I was going to ever pitch again.
So you walked 4 guys. He gave you the hook. Yankees wind up losing the game.
Yeah, 13-8 we lost that game.
You had pitched really well prior to that. You were 4-0 in September. Your ERA was under 1. I mean, you were on fire until that start.
Yes. Well, I started that no windup, you know, and try to confuse the guys a little more. I had good luck with it. And that was my worst outing since I started that no windup, this Game 2 of the World Series.
I think he was a little nervous that day, first start in the World Series.
And you weren't sure. You weren't sure that you'd get another World Series start.
No, after that game I thought, well, I knew I'd be in the bullpen, but I didn't think I'd start again because we still had Turley, Johnny Cox, you know, to do the job.
And Whitey Ford as well.
Right, again.
So how did you learn that you were the Game 5 starter?
I came to the ballpark pretty early. You know, happy-go-lucky. I always like to come early anyway. And Frank Rossetti had put the ball in my shoe, and that meant I was going to start. I didn't know they didn't tell me anything. I remember Hank Bauer and Moose Gowron being there and watching me look at that thing, and I probably took a big swallow and probably said to myself, don't screw this one up.
Now, the story goes that you were out the night before, enjoying yourself, man about town, true?
Arthur Richmond and I went out, we had a couple drinks and a little pizza, and I probably got to bed early as I ever did.
Which is what time?
Probably about midnight.
Mm-hmm. And game time's what, 1 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah, so plenty of time to get 8 hours, right?
I felt comfortable. There was nothing to do.
Now, you guys had lost the World Series the year before.
Yeah.
Dodgers finally beat you. You had beaten them in 47 and 49 and 52 and 53. They finally beat you in 55.
Right.
And now here you are, and it's tight again. And your opponent in Game 5, Sal Maglie, had pitched a no-hitter himself the last week of the regular season against the Phillies.
Right.
And he was very sharp at that point. Both of you, with the exception of your Game 2 start, had pitched very well, and he'd already won a game in the World Series.
Yeah, Sal did a fantastic job against it. He would have won 9 out of 10 of the games like he pitched that day, anytime.
So here we are. It's Yankee Stadium. It's an October day. All World Series games are day games then. And when we roll the kinescope, we're going to see that the shadows are a factor in the game. The shadows creeping between home plate and the pitcher's mound.
They always came in that way, in effect. And it was a little tough, too, for both pitchers and the batter, you know, to pick up the ball. I don't know if it would have been a pitcher's advantage or not. Yog, what do you think?
We would wish there'd be a cloudy day when we played in the World Series, because you could see the ball on a cloudy day better than you could when the sun's out there. Once that ball shadow got over home plate, it was pretty tough. But it was more hard to see on a breaking ball than it was a fastball.
When you walked to the mound that day, how nervous were you?
In what inning?
Well, I'm talking about, we'll get to the ninth. I'm talking about the start of the game.
No, I was just happy that I had another chance, you know, face the Dodgers. It was always a thrill for me because, you know, I didn't have great luck with the clubs I was before. It was just a thrill to be in the World Series. You know, we probably got too much attention, but I didn't mind that a bit.
And it had been, in contrast to Yogi, spends his whole career with the Yankees, he's in the World Series all the time. 2 years before that, you go like 3-21.
That was with Baltimore.
The Orioles, they had just moved from St. Louis to Baltimore.
St. Louis moved the whole franchise to Baltimore in the winter.
But they were just as lousy.
Yeah, we weren't very good.
So in 1954, you're 3-21 for the new Baltimore Orioles.
Right.
It's a godsend to get traded to the Yankees.
Oh, I was thrilled to death. I lost all kinds of games. You couldn't imagine the way I lost some of the games. And, you know, and I beat the Yankees twice out of the 3 wins that year in 54.
So you're 1-21 against the rest of the world.
Right.
It's because of those 2 wins that they wanted you. That's why they traded for you.
Maybe, I guess.
So the stage has been set, and when we come back, the never-before-seen kinescope of Game 5 of the 1956 World Series. A perfect afternoon in the Bronx. Mel Allen and Vin Scully on the call. This is the MLB Network.
Pastime goes full-time. MLB Network, your new 24/7 television home for Major League Baseball. The greatest game has a new 24/7 television home. MLB Network, your source for original programming, breaking news, and inside access no fan will want to miss.
Swing and a miss! No-hitter!
Weeknights, expert analysis on every rumor, trade, and signing with Hot Stove at 7 Eastern and Pacific. Then, MLB Network has your ticket to a different classic every weeknight at 8 Eastern. On Monday, baseball's top moments, best players, and greatest teams. Prime 9 ranks them 9-1. Tuesday, Ken Burns' Baseball, the most extensive visual history of the game ever made. Wednesday, Baseball Seasons follows your favorite teams through an unforgettable year. Thursday, it's Home Run Derby, where the hottest players make their greatest hits again and again. And Friday, we live baseball's greatest fall classics with World Series highlights.
The Philadelphia Phillies are champions of baseball!
It's all part of the hottest lineup in prime time. every weeknight on MLB Network.
All right, guys, here we go. You know, you've spent the better part of your life seeing that film clip of strike 3 to Dale Mitchell, but we're about to see the actual telecast of the game that day. Are you anxious?
Yeah,
Sure.
In black and white, of course. There's no center field camera. Replays didn't exist, but you do have the voices of Mel Allen and Vin Scully. Now, the kinescope picks up in the top of the second. There's one out. Gil Hodges is the batter for the Dodgers. We don't know what the first inning plus or where the first inning plus of the game is, but we do have it from this point in the second inning on. Don't worry, you haven't allowed any hits or base runners yet.
Okay.
Gil Hodges at the plate, Don Larsen on the mound, Mel Allen at the mic.
One ball, no strikes. No score, second inning. 21. Strike 2, 1-2. On deck is Sandy Amaros. He's out of there. Don Larsen has what they call in the trade a sneaky fastball. Up comes Sandy Amaros. It is not the fastest ball that is thrown around, such as a Herb score. But he'll play around with you and suddenly sneak it in, and it jumps on you. Strike 1. Amaros is 1 for 10 in the series. Foul back up here. Ben Scully played baseball at Fordham, but even so, he flinched just a little on that one. Forgot to bring his glove with him today. No balls, 2 strikes. Sandy is a strong little fella, and so is Don Larsen. Change up outside, ball 2, 2-2. As Tom Sturdivant remarked last evening when he walked Amaros in the 9th inning, he said he knew that he could pull his fastball thrown even outside into the right field seats. The high pop into medium right, Martin out, Bowery in, and Martin has it. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And so at the middle of the second inning, the score is Brooklyn 0, New York 0.
There goes Cincinnati's Freddie Devils. He's the one to inspire confidence. Let's hear how he does it with the pitcher.
Don't worry about this guy now. You're a better pitcher than he is a hitter. If you give me your good stuff, you'll be okay.
Now, from baseball to shaving. Show us the right way, Brady. Soap and water, shaving cream, and your Gillette Super Speed razor. Refreshing? You said it. Clean and comfortable, too. One, the light, regular, or heavy Gillette Super Speed has the correct blade edge exposure, edge angle, and weight to give you shaving luxury. Man, luxury. Whatever your combination of skin and beard. Change blades, rinse it clean in split seconds. Want to see? $1 gets you the Gillette Super Speed, Gillette Blue Blade dispenser, and travel case. And as a World Series special, the Encyclopedia of Baseball is attached, free.
If you haven't got a copy of this baseball encyclopedia while you're watching these games, believe me, you're just missing a lot of fun. Not only does it have information about all the players in this World Series, but a lot of other baseball information, too, that helps you get more out of baseball. And now back to the ball game. Last half of the second inning. Yogi Berra leading off for New York. Eno Slaughter on deck and Billy Martin to follow. Sal Bagley on the mound. Strike one. Berra's had 5 for 15. Bagley has a very good curveball, and he'll throw a slider in there, too, every once in a while to mix in with his fastball. The looping pop fly down the left field line. Reese and Ambrose digging. Pee-wee makes a fine catch. Slaughter getting a hand from the crowd, who appreciates fine playing of a fellow at 40. Strike one. Just as they appreciate the fine performance of Sal Bagley at 39. Outside, 1-1. Enos has had 7 for 15. Sal Bagley, winner of the opener. Gets over the outside part of that plate, 1-2. 0-0, last half of the second. The fly ball to left field. Ambrose moving over. 2 away. Now coming to bat is Billy Martin. Martin's had 4 for 15 in the series. Strike one. Foul back up here. No balls, 2 strikes. Nothing. Last half of the second inning. 2 outs. McDougal pointed to the ball that was fouled off a moment ago. It rolled back onto the field, and time was temporarily called. Bat boy retrieved it. Strike 3. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And so at the end of the second inning, the score is Brooklyn 0, New York 0.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp and listen, mister. How are you fixed for blades? Do you have plenty? How are you fixed for blades? You better check. Please make sure you have enough, cause a worn-out blade makes shaving mighty tough. How are you fixed for blades? You better look. Gillette Blonde blades we need.
When we come back to Larsen's perfect game, it'll be the top of the third. Still scoreless, and Dodger right fielder Carl Furillo coming to the plate.
This offseason has been one of the most exciting ever, and some big names are going to be changing uniforms. K-Rod hangs up his halo. The Rockies deal Holiday away to the Bay. Milwaukee loses CC to NYC. But plenty of big names are still in play. MLB Network's Hot Stove will keep you on top of who's headed where, with expert analysis of every rumor, every trade, and every signing. Hot Stove, tonight at 10 Eastern, only on MLB Network. MLB Network takes you back to October. Relive the pivotal postseason games of 2008 as the Philadelphia Phillies make history. October Classics, starting Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
Welcome back to Don Larsen's Perfect Game. Baseball was, of course, a much different game in 1956. I'm sure you're struck right away by just a few of the examples. The enormous size of the original Yankee Stadium before it was remodeled in the mid-1970s. The fact that although this is an American League park, it's pre-DH, so Sal Magli and Don Larsen bat for themselves. It seems almost no one wears a batting helmet yet. Almost nobody ever steps out of the box, so the game moves along at a much quicker clip. And meanwhile, baseball on television was an entirely different deal. First and most obviously, the game is in black and white. Also, the center field camera hasn't arrived yet, so that shot, which is now the standard shot of a modern telecast, isn't seen at all in 1956. Instant replay hasn't been invented, so forget about a second look at an interesting or controversial play, let alone a third, fourth, or fifth different angle as might be available today. There are almost no graphics. The announcers work alone without analysts. In some cases, maybe something is missing. There are almost no close-ups, which certainly a modern director would use to enhance the drama as Larsen moved along into the latter innings of the game. Almost no shots of the dugout to see the way the teams are viewing the unfolding drama. No bullpen shots. We find out that Whitey Ford was actually warming up, even though Larsen was pitching a perfect game. Whitey Ford was warming up in the Yankee bullpen in the late stages of the contest, but neither Vin Scully nor Mel Allen seemed to be aware of that because there wasn't a camera stationed out there. On the other hand, the telecast is not cluttered, and it has the singular benefit of two of the greatest announcers ever, Mel Allen and the young Vin Scully. Now, they work alone, and so while they may refer to each other, you only hear one at a time. It's Mel at the mic as we pick it up in the top half of the third inning. Still, nobody has reached base for either team. Larsen on the mound for the Yankees in the top of the third, and the first man he faces is the Dodger right fielder, Carl Furillo.
First half of the third inning at Yankee Stadium, game 5. Each team has won 2 games. The Dodgers the first 2, the Yankees the next 2. This for the benefit of those who may not have had the opportunity to follow it closely. The bottom third of the Dodger order coming up in the third. You just saw the picture of Carl Furillo leading off, Roy Campanella on deck, and Sal Magli to follow. At Ebbets Field, Brooklyn won the first game 6-3. Magli beating Ford, and the second game 13-8. Don Besant in relief of Newcomb, the winner, Morgan the loser, and the Yankees have won the last 2 here at the stadium 5-3. Ford beating Craig and Sturdivant beating Erskine. Don Larsen pitching to Carl Furillo. Strike 1. Fly ball out into right. 1 away. Furillo had 5 for 15 prior to that. Roy Campanella coming to bat. He's had 4 for 12. May I inject a thought here? You remember Slaughter's delay on a fly ball hit in the 9th inning. This time of the year, the shadows are different than they are during the regular season. Ball 1. And it becomes difficult for the outfielders to pick the ball up as it rises through the triple deck. It's in there. 1-1. Strike 2, 1-2. Four strikeouts for Larsen. And Sal Magley is coming out of the dugout. Retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And so at the middle of the third inning, the score is Brooklyn nothing, New York nothing.
You've got the skill to make 'em rave, but your beard I cannot stand, sir.
When you really want a decent shave, Gillette Super Speed's the answer. You look sharp.
Feel sharp. Be sharp.
Now there's a razor, Gillette Super Speed.
With the blade edge and the weight you need. Light,
Regular, heavy.
only way to get a decent shave.
What comfortable, good-looking, refreshing shaves you get when your razor matches your skin and beard. Light for men with sensitive skin and most younger men. Regular for average skin and beard. The heavy with its distinctive heft and feel. Change blades, rinse clean, so. $1 for razor, Gillette Blue Blade dispenser and travel case with baseball encyclopedia attached free.
Last half the third inning at Yankee Stadium. The bottom third of the order coming up. McDougald, Carey, and Larsen. We're showing you this shot because you see the framework. This is at the bleacher wall. Normally, there is a canvas curtain there put up so that the hitters will have a good background. But because the bleachers have been sold out, they dropped that canvas so that the people sitting behind that frame, of course, can see the game, and it makes it more difficult for the hitters to see the pitchers because they don't have the good background. Foul ball, strike one. Frank Crissetti retrieving it. It was just a thought that Benny and I had. We discussed it because a lot of the hitters talk about it. Had the day been warmer, it might have been even more difficult because people would have been sitting out there in white shirts and the ball would be lost in the white shirts. Sal Magley pitching to Gil McDougald. Last of the third, no score. It's in there. Strike two call. Breaking stuff. McDougald's had 2 for 11. Robinson to Hodges, one away. Third to first, and up comes Andy Carey. 2 for 9. Inside, ball one. The high pop foul. Campanella under it. 2 down. Campy is tremendous on those foul pops. Don Larsen has not yet emerged from the dugout. Here he comes. Don has come to bat one time in the series, has had one hit. Better than average hitting pitcher. Ball one. Foul ball. A high pop right around the plate again. And the side's retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And each pitcher has gone through the first 9 men in order. And so at the end of the third inning, the score is Brooklyn nothing, New York nothing.
He's got a lifetime average of 310.
He never hit over 290.
You want to bet?
There's one sure way to settle a baseball argument. That's with the $5.95 official encyclopedia of baseball. Now you can get this great book in vest pocket size free. Here's the cream of the big volume. It's free for a limited time with the purchase of the easy shaving Gillette Super Speed Razor. The razor, Gillette Blue Blade dispenser, travel case, and book, $1.
Coming up after the break on Larsen's Perfect Game, we'll take you to the top of the fourth. The game's still scoreless and still no one having reached base for either team.
What is the most unforgettable baseball moment of all time? Who hit the greatest home run?
Deep left center, way back, way back.
Or committed the biggest blunder?
Gets through Buckner.
MLB Network presents Prime 9, a countdown covering baseball's top teams, games, and players. It's a show guaranteed to start arguments, not end them. Prime 9 premieres Monday at 8 Eastern on MLB Network. MLB Network is proud to present the definitive epic of America's pastime.
Baseball is a beautiful thing. The choreography of the sport, the pace and rhythm of it.
Baseball, directed by award-winning documentarian Ken Burns. Every Tuesday, the acclaimed series that brings the greatest players and the greatest moments of the game to life in a way that you've never seen before. We live the triumphs.
There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The tragedies.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
And the celebrations of the game.
Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
And every week, Ken Burns shares new personal insight in an exclusive interview.
It is the American game.
Ken Burns is Baseball, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
Welcome back to Larsen's Perfect Game, which is still scoreless as the Dodgers' Junior Gilliam leads off the top of the fourth. Up in the booth, Mel Allen has a visitor.
I got one of the greatest guys that ever wore a uniform sitting here, Carl Hubbell, old square pants, who pitched for the New York Giants, won 4 games in World Series play, lost 2, now in charge of the Giants farm system. Carl, it must have been a great thrill to have been admitted to the Hall of Fame.
Yes, it certainly was, Mel. I think that's one thing that most any ball player that's been in the big leagues for any length of time, they hope for, and then whenever it happens, well, it really is a wonderful feeling to a person.
How about your old sidekick here, Sal Magley, performing out here?
Well,
great, hasn't
he certainly has. That's another thing. It's one of the nice things about an older ball player, you know, that he can come back right on the end and have a great season.
Speaking about Carl Hubbell winning 4 and losing 2 in World Series play, this fact and others can be found in the Vest Pocket Encyclopedia of Baseball. Jim Gilliam grounding on the first pitch to Martin, 1 away. First to the 4th. Jim Gilliam, who looked at a 3rd strike in the first inning, hits the first pitch to Martin. Thanks to King Carl for dropping up and saying hello. Huey Reese, who looked at a 3rd strike in the first inning, is up. An accidental swing. 2 away. Martin to Collins. Pee-wee apparently was trying to check his swing. Here is the Duke, flying to right field in the first inning. Outside, ball 1. Don Larsen pitching to Duke Snyder. Ball 2. To the last second, of course. That ball is mighty close. And as our camera followed the flight of the ball for you, we put our eyes on the foul line umpire. And believe me, he didn't signal in a hurry. He had to wait. That's how close it was. Strike 2 fastball. 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, no score, 4th inning. Foul ball out of play in the upper deck. Strike 3 call. Side retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. And so at the middle of the 4th inning, the score is Brooklyn nothing, Yankees nothing.
Hurry, dear. Breakfast. It's 7:30.
7:30. There he goes. Like most of us, he'll just make it with seconds to spare. Now for a fast shave with his Gillette Super Speed Razor. And here's another time saver. Gillette Foamy Instant Lather Shaving Cream. Trip the nozzle and look. There's rich, beard softening lather. Quick, convenient. That's the story. Foamy is new on the market, and it's surging ahead. We think it's one of the best of the instant lathers. And they're so good, more than 10 million men shave with instant lathers. How's this for a plus? Foamy contains K34, the antiseptic that destroys harmful bacteria on the face. 79 cents gets you about a 3-month supply. It's a pretty safe bet you'll like it.
Last half of the 4th inning at Yankee Stadium, game 5. Each team's won 2 games. Game 6 will be played tomorrow at Ebbets Field. Our air time, 12:45 Eastern Daylight Saving Time. It'll be the top of the Yankees order: Hank Bauer, Joe Collins, and Mickey Mantle. Bauer flied to left field in the first inning. It's a high foul coming back out of play. Strike 1. Ball 1, 1-1. Looked as if Hank had an idea of trying to drop one down. Sal Magley pitching for Brooklyn. Strike 2. Magley calls himself a curveball pitcher. He has a fastball that he uses now and then, either to sneak by a hitter for the strike when he figures the hitter's not looking for it, frequently as a waste pitch to set up the curve. One away, Bauer grounding out. Robinson to Hodges. Up comes Joe Collins, who dropped a bunt down the third base line in the first inning, and Jackie Robinson threw him out. Jackie, by the way, plays in closer for Hank Bauer, who just batted, than any third baseman we've seen all season. Strike 1, got the outside part of the plate. 0-0, last of the 4th. Low inside, ball 1, 1-1. Strike 2, 1-2. A mild objection, apparently, by Joe Collins, or some thought on his part. A looping pop foul. Jackie can't get it. Out of play. Ben and I wanted to take just a moment. We'd like to have more time to express our deep sympathy over the passing of one of the great baseball writers of the nation, Rudd Rennie of the Herald Tribune, who passed away a couple of days ago and went to his final resting place today. He had been following the Yankees for many a year and had been writing since 1925. It was just a year ago, remember, Benny, that Stan Baumgartner, a former Major League player and a writer in Philadelphia, passed away during the series. Strike 3 call. Man, we're looking at some pitching. Here's Mickey Mantle flying to left in the first inning. No score, last of the 4th. Gets it over there for a strike. Again, the Dodgers employing the shift. Robinson, the only man between third and second. And then you find Reese, Gilliam, and Hodges between second and first. Ball one. The Dodgers feel if Mantle wanted to take advantage of the shift and try to bunt down the third base line or go to left field, that's perfectly all right with them. Strike two call, 1-2. You may have noted that many players on both sides today have been taking a lot of pitches for strikes. It's a high foul out of play back of third. Battery of cameramen, including our own TV men in that area. No score, last of the fourth. 2 outs. Low, ball 2, 2-2. Sal Magley wasting a low fastball on Mantle. This fellow really operates. He sets a hitter up. Another high foul down the left field line, going out of play. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Last of the fourth, no score. Achieves his 3rd home run of the series, his 8th in World Series play. 2 behind Snyder and Gehrig, and 7 behind Babe Ruth. These facts and many others you'll find in the Encyclopedia of Baseball. Strike 1. One ball, 1 strike. It's odd that the first base runner on either side was a home run belted by Mickey Mantle. 1-0 New York. Each pitcher had retired every man he had faced until just now. It's a drive to left center. The Duke on the run. He dives. He got it. How about that? Well, you just saw 2 of the greatest center fielders in baseball, one belting it for a homer, and the other making one of the most sensational catches you'd ever want to see. 1 run, 1 hit, no errors, no one left on. At the end of 4 innings, the Yankees won, the Dodgers nothing. Your complete totals out to the right of your screen. Well, sir, talking about great center fielders, you got 2 of the greatest catchers in baseball here today, Yogi Berra and Roy Campanella. We interviewed feud campaign just the other day, and here's what he had to tell us on a special transcription.
I've tried the others, and I can tell you, this is the only way to get a decent shave. A Gillette razor and a Gillette blade.
All right, so Mickey homers. You congratulate him as he crosses the plate. That's the first hit for either side in the game. So Magley has been perfect to that point as well.
Great.
Mickey homers, makes it 1-0.
All right.
Mantle was a tremendous World Series player. Hit 18 World Series homers, hit 3 in that World Series.
Well, Mickey was a pretty good hitter. You make a mistake on him, it's gone. You know, I used to tease him, you know, he hit them 500-foot home runs. I said, what's the difference if you hit it 300 feet or 500? It counts for 1.
But his were more impressive.
I know it. They were 4. That's it.
You know, watching all those Gillette commercials in between innings, and they're kind of amusing now, you know, a half century down the road. It's amazing to me that Sal Magley didn't get a Gillette commercial. He's the guy they call the barber.
Yeah,
he had a 5 o'clock shadow that made Richard Nixon look like Peach Fuzz. Why didn't he get the commercial?
I don't know. I don't think I'd have tried one. I'd have probably cut myself all over the place.
So now you got a 1-0 lead. And at this point, you probably have a sense. You don't know what's going to unfold. Nobody could have anticipated that. But you got a sense that this is going to be a close game. This isn't going to be an 8-6 game.
Well, the way we were both working, you know, the game was going pretty fast, and nobody had a time to really relax or think much about it. You know, the game went on pretty good. And I was happy with that fact, because sometimes you can get out of a groove if you have a long inning or something like that. I think it's important the way we both worked that day to make it go quickly.
And by this time, you've worked 4 innings, you've set down 12 in a row. Are you feeling a groove now?
Not really.
Not yet?
Nope. No, I was just trying to do my best job I could, you know, from then on.
Campanella behind the plate, it looked like there were some times when Magley was either shaking him off or maybe calling some of his own pitches. But Don never shook you off, right?
No, he didn't shake me off once, no.
97 pitches, all the ones you called.
Oh, right.
We didn't want to screw a good thing up.
Could you sense early on that he had especially good stuff?
He had good stuff. Anything you called, he got it over and put him in the right spots. And that's what did it. He had a good breaking ball that day. A good fast. He kids himself. He had a good fastball. He threw it pretty darn hard that day. And everything came to place. That's all. We fake sometimes. Like we had to sound like I shake my head. You know, don't throw it, but I keep the same finger down. Then it'll make the hitters think a little bit.
How did this no wind-up thing help you? Did it help your control?
Well, I think it helped me concentrate more on the plate, you know, and the catcher. I didn't need to take the big old wind-up. I could still throw as hard without it. But I thought it made me concentrate more on Yogi or whoever was catching me. I started it in Boston about 4 or 5 games before this. I threw the pitch, Yogi wasn't even set. I just threw it. And he wasn't, you know, down ready to catch it. Nobody was. I came out to the park that day. I was having a little trouble. I asked Jim Turner if I could try something new. He, with his gentleman's laugh, he said, I don't care what you do as long as you win. So I tried it, and it worked good for me.
Couple of close calls early. 2 more will come later. The great catch that Mickey makes, we'll see that off Gil Hodges, and a near home run by Sandy Ambrose. But to this point of the game, Robinson had hit a shot that ricocheted off Carey at third to McDougal, picked it up, nipped him at first, and Snyder hit a near home run foul that we saw a minute ago. So those were close calls.
Yes, they were very close. I thought that play that Andy Carey made and Gil together was outstanding. You know, that was just the 4th out of the ball game. And, you know, boom, boom at first. You know, Jackie years ago might have beaten it out, but not that day.
You know, you look at this game, in addition to the fact that it happens to be a perfect game, what gives it its context and meaning, really, is it's Yankee Stadium. It's the Dodgers and the Yankees in that era. These are the Hall of Famers that were in this game. Campanella, Berra, Robinson, Mantle, Snyder, Pee Wee Reese, Enos Slaughter. Not in the game, but in the series, Whitey Ford. 2 young pitchers on the Dodger roster, future Hall of Famers Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax. Both managers, Walter Alston and Casey Stengel, go to the Hall of Fame. 3 guys who broadcast the game go to the broadcaster's wing. The 2 on this kinescope, Mel Allen and Vin Scully, and the radio guy, Bob Wolf. That's 15 Hall of Famers directly involved in this game.
Yeah.
That was a great feeling, you know, to know that.
Yeah.
I think about that every now and then. Good feeling.
All those Hall of Famers, but none of them had as good a day as you did. No one ever had as good a day.
I think we all had a pretty
good
day. I had a better one, but everybody had a good one.
All right, we've gone through 4. We've gone through 4. The Yankees lead at 1-0 on the Mantle home run. Don Larsen working on perfection. Interesting doings in the 5th. And we'll get to it when we return in just a moment on the MLB Network.
Man, another big trade's cooking.
That's how you're keeping up with baseball?
Yeah, but not just from newspapers, from websites, blogs, talk radio. Plus, my secret source. The mailroom guy at work knows someone who rides the bus with Jeter's doorman.
You are working way too hard.
Yeah? How do you get your scoop?
On the stove.
MLB Network's Hot Stove. Get the latest expert analysis of every rumor, every trade, every signing. Tonight at 10 Eastern on MLB Network.
Jeter's doorman?
I don't think I've ever been involved with anything this big. The vision is incredible.
MLB Network is going to be everything that any other sports channel or newspaper isn't, because it's all baseball all the time.
If you're a baseball fan, you're going to sit here and watch games, live look-ins, and get expert analysis.
This is going to be one-stop shopping for fans. They can follow their local teams on a national level and get to check in on those division rivals at the same time.
MLB Network, I think it's going to be everything from every different tier of fan. Players that are available, trades that might be made, free agent signings.
We are about baseball, no other sport.
It's about selling the hope for the fans and their team as we always look forward to the start of that first game.
I think our resources are amazing. The talent we have here are unparalleled to any other network.
It's something that I think every fan is going to love in very short order.
You're watching MLB Network, where our national pastime goes full-time.
Play ball. As we rejoin Don Larsen's perfect game, the Yankees now have a 1-0 lead on a Mickey Mantle home run. Coming up to bat for the Dodgers, Jackie Robinson.
Moving into the 5th inning, New York 1, Brooklyn nothing. Duke Snider got an ovation as he trotted into the Dodger dugout for that spectacular play, robbing Yogi Berra of at least a double. And of course, had the ball bounded by him, it could have been an inside-the-park homer. A chance taken by the Duke because the other 2 outfielders had not time to get in behind him. That ball was so hard and hit. He got an ovation for that. In the meantime, Mantle was running out to his position in center and got an ovation from the stands for his homer. First half of the 5th inning. Jackie Robinson, Gil Hodges, and Sandy Amorose are the first 3 men up for Brooklyn. Jackie, robbed of a base hit in the 2nd inning on a liner, deflected off the glove of Carey to McDougal, who threw him out. Don Larsen pitching. Ball 1. The high foul coming back out of play. All the umpires have done a great job in this series, and Dusty Bodges of the National League brushed out into center to be right on top of the play that Snider made, to be in position to make certain that he caught it and didn't trap it. Strike 2 and a beautiful change-up curve. Pulled the string on him. High foul down the left field line and out of play. One ball, 2 strikes. right. Bauer makes the catch. One down, and here's Gil Hodges. Struck out in the second inning. Yanks 1, Dodgers nothing, 5th inning. Strike 1. Don Larsen using a variety of speeds on his curveball and whipping his fastball in there, mixing it up nicely. He's sneaky fast. Fastball, strike 2, 0-2. Yanks 1, Dodgers nothing, 5th inning. Low outside, 1-2. Low inside, ball 2, 2-2. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. There's a drive to left center. Mantle digging hard. Still going. Still going. Great catch. How about that? Today you are watching World Series play. Duke Snyder in the last half of the 4th, coming up with a spectacular catch. And Mickey Mantle coming up with another one. Sandy Amaros, the batter. Popped out in the second inning to Billy Martin. Ball 1. Mickey doesn't get as good a jump on a ball as some outfielders, but he has such sheer speed that he sometimes even overruns them. There's a strike. He caught up with that one. One nothing New York, 5th inning. There's a drive to deep right field. It is a foul ball. 2 umpires called it. Ed Runge and then Hank Soar to let the fans know at once it was mighty close. Sandy Amaros came within, well, let's say a foot of tying the score. Maybe inches. Low. 2-2. Gordon to Collins, and the sides are tired. No runs, no hits, no errors, no one left on. Yankees leading Brooklyn 1-0. Mantle getting a hand as he comes in for his tremendous catch off Hodges, duplicating in a measure the spectacular catch made by Duke Snider. And so at the middle of the 5th inning, the score is New York 1, Brooklyn 0.
Say, who's the little guy? Oh, that's Kevin Snider, son of the Dodgers Duke.
Hey, teaching your boy the tricks?
All I know, Al.
About shaving, too?
He's a little young for that.
Well, if he were old enough.
You know me, Al. I teach him to shave with a Gillette razor.
Sure, now there are 3 super speeds. For younger men and men with sensitive skin, the light. Average skin and beard, the regular. Men who like the heft and feel of a heavier razor, the heavy. 3 Gillette super speed razors. Different blade edge exposure, edge angle, and weight. One to give you comfort, and along with that, speed and convenience that's rare. It's a bet you never had it before. And how about it? Convenient? You change blades and rinse clean, zing. You'll find this World Series special on the counter of a nearby store. Razor, Gillette Blue Blade dispenser, and compact travel case, $1, plus the fact-filled baseball encyclopedia, absolutely free.
Last half of the 5th inning, Game 5 at Yankee Stadium. The Yankees leading the Dodgers 1-0. The team's even in games at 2-2. And this has been a game that has been just spectacular. And hearts have been jumping up into throats and mouths all the way. And here's Ben Scully to carry on the rest of the way.
Thank you, Mel. Hi, everybody. Ball 1 to Enos Slaughter, who flied to left field in the 2nd inning. Slaughter is 7 for 16. He'll be followed by Billy Martin and Gil McDougall. Ball 2. Two and 0. In there, 2-1. Ball 3. This is the first time, as we're in the 5th inning, that Magley has gone to a 3-ball count on a hitter. 3-1. Ball 4. Billy Martin struck out in the 2nd inning. Billy is 4 for 16. Yankees 1, Dodgers 0. Nobody out, last of the 5th inning. Ball 1. See Martin move up on that pitch, perhaps trying to take a shot to right. In there, 1-1. Magley has given up a run on a hit, the home run by Mantle, struck out 2 and walked 1. Don Larsen has struck out 5 men, 4 of the 5 looking. One and 1. There's Here's the bunt. Magley fields it. His play is to Reese. In time as Pee Wee does a toe dance to stay on the bag. That ball appeared to be heading towards center field. Force play, 1-6. Gil McDougald bounced out third to first in the third inning. 0 for 1. Gil during the series has 2 hits for 12 at-bats. Strike 1. Billy Martin at first, held on by Hodges. 1 out on the 5th, 1-0 Yankees. One ball, 1 strike. Fouled away. 1-2. Throw to first. Not in time. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Gil McDougald. Two and two. Martin goes. Pitch is fouled at the plate. Martin back to first. Two and two. Line and up in the air. He grabs it. Goes to Hodges. They double up Martin. Steely Reese playing catch with himself. That ball jumped out of Pee Wee's glove as if there was a spring in it. Then he caught it and fired to Hodges. Double play, 6-3. For the Yankees in the 5th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. The score at the end of 5, the Yankees 1, the Dodgers nothing.
All right, so Sandy Amorose grounds out. It ends the inning. Through 5, you're still perfect, but in that top half of the 5th, 2 balls really hit hard. The Hodges drive into left center that Mantle makes the great running backhand catch on, and Amorose comes very close to wrapping one inside the foul pole. It's just on the wrong side, or the right side for you.
Gil nailed that ball pretty good, but you know, I never thought Mickey was the greatest outfielder, but he could run like a deer, and I knew he was going to catch that ball. I didn't have any choice about the Amorose's ball, because I wasn't foul, thank God. Ed Runge, who's the outfield umpire, lives in San Diego where I did, and we got together several times, and he told me that ball was about 2 feet foul. And then I took another hard swallow when he told me that.
Now, there's no replay, obviously, of any of these plays. It doesn't exist in any of sports television to this point. So you see it the one time. But what younger viewers especially have to appreciate is the size of the old Yankee Stadium. And Mantle is playing, it looked like, straight away, certainly not pulled over toward left center. He goes all the way on the left field side of the 457 sign in Death Valley. That is a long, long run.
That ball would have been a home run in any other park today, period.
He got a tremendous jump on it, and then he just outran it, right?
Outrun. Mickey outran a lot of balls.
So now, if Mickey doesn't catch that one, it's probably a triple.
Oh, yeah.
And the thing that people lose track of is they're thinking perfect game as they watch this now. The score of this game is 1-0. He'd be on third base with one out. You're thinking about the game, not the perfect game.
Right.
You know, he could lose the ball in the crowd, too, on that kind of ball. I hit that like that, too.
So every no-hitter or perfect game, just about, has a few near misses. Those were two back-to-back right there in the fifth. That's probably your roughest patch of the game.
I think it was.
All right, so 5 in the books. It's a 1-0 game on the Mantle home run, and the Dodgers still have nothing to show for the afternoon against Don Larsen. More to come on the classic kinescope of Game 5 of the 1956 World Series when we come back on the MLB Network.
To reach the World Series takes pure will.
Out of body English for Carlton Fisk.
Sheer force.
What a colossal blow!
A little luck.
He hung on to it.
And a lot of determination.
Kurt Schilling's ankle could be a problem.
Catch only the game-breaking and legend-making moments of series past.
The winners and still world champions.
In World Series Highlights. Premieres tomorrow at 8 on MLB Network. The greatest game has a new 24/7 television home. MLB Network, your source for original programming, breaking news, and inside access no fan will want to miss.
Swing and a miss, no hitter.
Weeknights, expert analysis on every rumor, trade, and signing with Hot Stove at 7 Eastern and Pacific. Then, MLB Network has your ticket to a different classic every weeknight at 8 Eastern. On Monday, baseball's top moments, best players, and greatest teams. Prime 9 ranks them 9-1. Tuesday, Ken Burns' baseball, the most extensive visual history of the game ever made. Wednesday, baseball seasons follows your favorite teams through an unforgettable year. Thursday, it's Home Run Derby, where the hottest players make their greatest hits again and again. And Friday, relive baseball's greatest fall classics with World Series highlights.
The Philadelphia Phillies are champions of baseball.
It's all part of the hottest lineup in prime time, every weeknight on MLB Network.
You're watching Don Larsen's Perfect Game from October 8, 1956. The Yankees' lead remains 1-0, and with the game now past the halfway point, at least some of the players and fans must now be considering the seemingly impossible.
To the 6th inning, the Yankees leading 1-0 on Mickey Mantle's home run. The Dodgers sending up Carl Furillo, Roy Campanella, and Sal Mangley. Furillo flied to right in the 3rd inning. He is 5 for 16. Fouled away. High pop fly. Billy Martin slanting out, calling for it, makes his play. Don Larsen is spinning quite a web today. He's retired 16 men in a row. Roy Campanella struck out looking in the 3rd inning. 0 for 1 and 4 for 13. fly. McDougall going out along with Martin. Martin is calling. 2 out. The hardest hit ball for Brooklyn thus far in 5 2/3 innings was the line drive by Hodges into left center that was backhanded by Mickey Mantle. And now here's Sal Magley. Magley flied to center in the 3rd inning. On 2. One and 2. Fouled away. Fouled away, and the count remains 1 and 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. 2 out, bases empty in the 6th inning. The Yankees won, the Dodgers nothing. Mickey Mantle's home run with 2 out in the 4th inning has been the difference. Down he goes. Mr. Don Larsen has been brilliant. He has struck out 6 men. He has retired 18 men in a row. For the Dodgers in the 6th inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And so at the middle of the 6th inning, the score, the Yankees won, the Dodgers nothing.
Manager Stengel has a word with Jerry Coleman in the Yankee clubhouse. And there's Mel Allen.
Casey, may I speak to you for a few minutes?
Mind waiting until I shower and shave?
Well, that's what I wanted to talk to you about. You're a Gillette user. Will you try these 3 razors and pick the one that's best for you?
Okay, glad to.
Now, Gillette has 3 super speed razors. Light for men with sensitive skin and most younger men. Regular for men with average skin and beard. Heavy for men who like the heft and feel of a heavier razor. 3 different Gillette razors. One has the right blade edge exposure, edge angle, and weight for you. The shaves you get. Clean, refreshing, easy. One-piece design. Change blades, rinse clean in a wink. What's the word, Casey?
Smooth, Mel, not a bristle. You couldn't take that heavy Gillette away from me.
You find the World Series special at a nearby store. Razor, Gillette Blue Blade dispenser, and travel case, $1 with free baseball encyclopedia. Get yours.
Well, friends, you talk to any sports writer, and you'll find that the Encyclopedia of Baseball is the #1 authority. And the cream of all the official statistics, etc., will be found right here in Gillette's Best Pocket Edition. The 6th inning, 1-0 Yankees. Andy Carey, Don Larsen, and Hank Bauer. A line base hit to center. That for Andy Carey.
is his third hit in 11 at-bats. It is hit number 2 against Sal Magley. And an ovation building up for Don Larsen, who has been brilliant. Larsen, as a batter, fouled out in the third inning. 0 for 1. The Dodgers are looking for the bunt. Robinson in on the grass. Hodges ready to charge from first. High fly ball down the line, hooking foul, back into the crowd. There's the bunt, and it goes foul. 0-2. Andy Carey has to go back to first. He raised quite a storm sliding into second. The bunt is made. It's a good one. Campanella's play is to Gilliam covering. So Larsen, bunting with 2 strikes on him, sacrifices Carey to second. Hank Bauer has popped out to Reese and bounced out third to first. He has 5 hits in 20 at-bats. Yankees 1, Dodgers nothing, last of the 6th. 1 out. The Dodger bullpen is very busy in left center. Strike 1. You cannot see the pitchers warming up in the bullpens here. They're hidden from our view. But as a guess, and at this stage in the ball game, you'd figure Besant and Labine. Base hit into left field. Ambrose up with the ball and bobbles it, and Carey will score easily. And the Yankees lead 2-0. Could do was to try and make the outfielders play, charge the ball, and hope desperately that you'd be able to pick it up and then get a throw. He couldn't do it. There is no error charge. Yankees 2, Dodgers nothing. Here's Joe Collins. Bounced out third to first and was caught looking in the 4th inning. Magley, who struck out 10 men in the series opener, has struck out 2 today. Ball 1. And going to third is Hank Bauer. Joe Collins hits a base hit, and Bauer spins to third. So the Yankees have put together 3 solid base hits here in the 6th inning. They lead 2-0. 1 out, and Walter Alston heading for the mound. Langley will stay in and pitch to Mickey Mantle. A great deal of strain now also on the Dodger infield, for Mantle batting left-handed, and with 1 out and Bauer a fast man at third, there is always the possibility of a squeeze play, among other things. Mickey Mantle flied to left and hit the home run in the 4th inning. He is 5 for 16. At first base, Joe Collins. At third, Hank Bauer, 1 out. The Dodger infield is in double play depth. Ball 1. Fouled away and sticks in the screen. 1 ball, 1 strike. Collins at first, Bauer at third, 1 out, 1-1 to Mantle. One and 2. Bouncer one-handed by Hodges, steps on first. They have Bauer hung up. Campanella throws low to Robinson, who digs it out, back to Campanella. Campanella running him down, throws to Robinson, who makes the tag. And they get the double play. 3-2 to 5-2 to 5. And a great diving catch by Robinson, where Campanella had thrown it in the dirt, and Jack threw back to the plate while on his knees. Got that double play if you're keeping score now. 3-2 to 5-2 to 5. For the Yankees in the 6th inning. 1 run, 3 hits, no errors, 1 man left on. And so at the end of the 6th inning, the score, the Yankees 2, the Dodgers nothing. And here's Joey Brown doing his famous wind-up.
Here's another winning combination, the Papermate Capri with a piggyback refill. This is the first and only pen with a built-in spare refill. See, you get 2 silvered points, 2 ink supplies, one on top of the other, sort of piggyback. So if you damage the point or run out of ink in the bottom section, you just reverse the sections, and you're all ready to write again. So get on the ball. Get a Papermate Capri, $1.95 in stores everywhere.
with the piggyback rebuilt.
So, little-known facts category, you helped yourself in this game with a two-strike sacrifice bunt. In the sixth, Hank Bauer, who was always a very good World Series hitter, came through with a single. That gave you a little bit of breathing room at 2-0.
Yes, it did. I felt a little comfortable with 2 runs. I mean, you know, I still didn't want to screw it up, but this prevented, like a 2-run homer would have tied it.
Now you're 2/3 of the way through. You've retired 18 straight. Is the notion of a perfect game beginning to set in?
No.
Not yet.
Nope. I knew I had a no-hitter. Every pitcher knows they're going to get a base hit off you. You know, that never bothered me. I didn't care about that. But that didn't set into me yet, no. I just wanted to continue doing a good job and keeping it close.
So you're thinking about winning the World Series game and putting your team up 3-2.
Yeah, because we were 2-2, you know, and we still had to go to Brooklyn at least for 1, but we ended up playing 2. And that was a big game for us to put us ahead, you know, 3-2. Gave us a little cushion going back to Brooklyn.
All right, looking for the edge in the series. The Yankees now lead the game 2-0 after the base hit by Bauer following the sacrifice by Larsen. And we move on to the 7th inning when we come back on the MLB Network.
MLB Network is proud to present the definitive epic of America's pastime.
Baseball is a beautiful thing. The choreography of the sport, the pace and rhythm of it.
Baseball, directed by award-winning documentarian Ken Burns. Every Tuesday, the acclaimed series that brings the greatest players and the greatest moments of the game to life in a way that you've never seen before. We live the triumphs.
There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The tragedies.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
And the celebrations of the game.
Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
And every week, Ken Burns shares new personal insight in an exclusive interview.
It is the American game.
Ken Burns is Baseball. Every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
Welcome back to Don Larsen's Perfect Game. The Yankees now lead 2-0. Meanwhile, it's been 18 up and 18 down for Brooklyn. We're back to the top of the order for the Dodgers, and Junior Gilliam leads it off in the 7th.
Yankees 2, Dodgers nothing as we go to the 7th. Gilliam, Reese, and Snyder. And this, the 5th game of the World Series, has been the best played. Don Larsen has been brilliant through 6 innings. He has retired 18 men in a row. Gilliam 0 for 2 is 1 for 16. Strike 1. One and one. Fouled away off third. Larsen has consistently had the count his way, putting a great deal of pressure on the hitters. He has struck out 6 men. 4 of the 6 batters were caught looking. A 1-bouncer scooped out by McDougal, who makes his play. Reese was caught looking at a 3rd strike in the 1st inning and bounced out 2nd to 1st. He is 0 for 2 and 6 for 20. High foul back of the plate. Yogi has no play.
fly ball to center. Mantle is there. 2 out. Duke Snyder flied to right in the first inning, struck out looking in the fourth. 0 for 2 and 4 for 16. Ball 1. 2 out, bases empty in the 7th inning. The Yankees 2, the Dodgers nothing. High fly ball to left. Enos Slaughter is there. And that's it. Mr. Don Larsen, through 7 innings, has retired 21 men in a row. And so at the middle of the 7th inning, the score remains the Yankees 2, the Dodgers nothing.
You'll find the official encyclopedia of baseball in every newspaper sports department. The Standard Authority, it sells for $5.95. Here's the cream of this book in vest pocket size, and it's free with purchase of the Gillette razor. Its 320 pages contain Major League rosters, nicknames, birth dates, lifetime records, how they bat and throw. The Hall of Fame, scores, highlights, and roster of all series games, park diagrams, seating plans, and playing areas, all-time leaders in runs, hits, and pitching, all-star game results. You enjoy baseball more with this wonderful book. It's free with the Gillette Super Speed Razor. One piece for convenience, you get clean, refreshing shaves that make you look and feel younger. Get yours. Book, razor, Gillette Blue Blade dispenser, and travel case, $1.
To the last of the 7th inning, the Yankees 2 runs, 4 hits, and no errors. Dodgers, no runs, no hits, no errors. Sal Magley and Don Larsen. The Yankees against Sal Magley will send up Yogi Berra, Enos Slaughter, and Billy Martin. Berra popped out to Pee Wee Reese in the 2nd inning and was robbed on a backhanded diving catch by Duke Snyder in the 4th. Berra 0 for 2 is 5 for 17. Ball 1, Magley changeup. The paid attendance today, 64,519. Off the thumbs and a pop fly, Robinson on the line in foul ground for the out. Enos Slaughter flied to left and walked. He is 7 for 16 in the series. Last series Enos played in was 10 years ago, 1946. Fouls it away, 0-1. 46 was a great year for Enos Slaughter. He led the National League in runs batted in with 130. Find that fact and so many others in the Encyclopedia of Baseball. One and one. Ball 2. Sal Magley has allowed 2 runs, 4 hits, struck out 2, walked 1. Fly ball to left. Amorous going back. makes his play. 2 out. If you're not keeping score and you'd like to look ahead, when Larsen goes to the mound in the 8th inning, the Dodgers will send up Robinson, Hodges, and Amorose. Billy Martin has struck out and hit into a force play. He is 4 for 17. Ball 1. One and one. Hot one to the hole and through. A base hit to left. Amorose up with it. Martin makes a big turn and holds on. With 2 out, Billy Martin singles to left. That is hit number 5 against Sal Magley and brings up Gil McDougall. McDougall bounced out third to first in the 3rd inning and hit a line drive in the 5th. Reese leaped in the air. The ball deflected off his glove, and then Pee Wee caught it again and threw to Hodges for the double play. McDougall 0 for 2 and 2 for 13. Ball 1. Changeup missed. Ball 2. Magley has not thrown many changes today. Ball 3. Ball 4. McDougall walks. Billy Martin advances to second base with 2 out. And Andy Carey comes to the plate. That is the 2nd walk given up by Sal Magley. Andy Carey fouled out DeRoy Campanella in the 3rd inning and singled to center and eventually scored in the 6th. He is 1 for 2 and 3 for 11. Ball 1. In the Dodger bullpen, Don Besson heating up. One and one. Gil McDougall at first. Billy Martin at second. 2 out, last of the 7th. Yankees 2, Brooklyn nothing. Fouled away. 1 and 2. 1-2. A bouncing ball to Reese. Feeds over to Gilliam for the force on McDougal. For the Yankees in the 7th inning, no runs, 1 hit. 2 men left on. There were no errors. And so at the end of 7 innings, the Yankees 2, the Dodgers nothing.
Look sharp, feel sharp, be sharp and listen, mister. How you fix for blades? That blade. How are you fix for blades? You better check. Please make sure you have enough. For the worn out blade makes shaving mighty tough. How are you fix for blades? Better look. Gillette Blue Blades, I mean.
So Larsen remains perfect through 7 and is just 6 outs away from history. By now, superstition has taken over, with his teammates refusing to speak with Larsen at all in the dugout, and Vin Scully adhering to the prevailing custom of not actually using the words no-hitter or perfect game. Instead, he skillfully alludes to the mounting tension and cites the number of consecutive batters retired. It's 21 now, and when we come back, we move to the top of the 8th.
Pastime goes full-time. MLB Network, your new 24/7 television home for Major League Baseball.
I don't think I've ever been involved with anything this big. The vision is incredible.
MLB Network is going to be everything that any other sports channel or newspaper isn't, because it's all baseball all the time.
If you're a baseball fan, you're going to sit here and watch games, live look-ins, and get expert analysis.
This is going to be one-stop shopping for fans. They can follow their local teams on a national level and get to check in on those division rivals at the same time.
MLB Network, I think it's going to be everything from every different tier of fan. Players that are available, trades that might be made, free agent signings.
We are about baseball, no other sport.
It's about selling the hope for the fans and their team as we always look forward to the start of that first game.
I think our resources are amazing. The talent we have here are unparalleled to any other network.
It's something that I think every fan is going to love in very short order.
You're watching MLB Network, where our national pastime goes full-time.
Play ball. As we move into the 8th inning of Don Larsen's perfect game, it's worth noting that plate umpire Babe Pinelli was working his final game ever behind the plate that day. So the last pitch he ever called was the last pitch of a perfect World Series game.
All eyes here at Yankee Stadium are on Don Larsen as he goes to work in the 8th inning. He will pitch to Jackie Robinson, Gil Hodges, and Sandy Amorose. Two Dodgers came very close to getting base hits thus far. Robinson in the 2nd inning lashed a line drive that was deflected off Andy Carey's glove over to Gil McDougal, and Gil threw Jackie out. Gil Hodges in the 5th inning hit a line drive into left center that was backhanded by Mickey Mantle. And here we are in the 8th. Robinson is 5 for 16. The Yankee bullpen now begins to stir around in deepest right center. Strike one. High foul, out of play. Larsen consistently has been able to get ahead of the hitters. Once again, he has to count his way 0-2 to Robinson. Jackie with something in his eye. A bouncer grabbed by Larsen. Makes his play. 1 out. Gil Hodges struck out in the second inning. And in the fifth, hit that bullet to left center. That was backhanded by Mantle. Gil 0 for 2, 7 for 16. Strike one. Again, Larsen getting that strike. One and one. That fastball was really jumping. 1 and 2. Two balls, 2 strikes. Bouncer grab. Trapped by Carey. Doesn't have to throw. Carey had dubbed the ball out, I believe. He caught it on a line and did not have to throw to first. So Hodges robbed. 2 down in the 8th inning as Andy Carey grabs that one right off his left ankle. The throw not necessary. Amorose has popped out and bounced out second to first. Sandy is 1 for 12. Strike one, and there it is again, that first strike. A high drive to right center, but Mantle is there. Don Larsen has retired 24 consecutive batters. For the Dodgers, no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on base. And at the middle of the 8th inning, the score, the Yankees 2, Brooklyn nothing.
A great stop by Milwaukee's Logan. There's the throw. Out. Slow motion shows you how he does it. Johnny springs to the right, backhands the ball, stops on his right foot, spins and throws in a lightning chain of action. Johnny, you're quick as a cat. Now show us how you get those fast shaves.
It's a cinch, Jim.
Soap, water, lather, and the Gillette Super Speed Razor that matches your face. You got yourself a shave. Refreshing, clean, you feel like a million. One, the light, regular or heavy Gillette Super Speed is right for you. Right blade edge exposure, angle and weight, whatever combination of skin and beard you have. Gillette guarantees shaving comfort and convenience that is downright luxury. Change blades, lightning fast. Choose your Gillette Super Speed and you're in for something special. $1 gets you the razor, Gillette Blue Blade dispenser, and while they last, the Encyclopedia of Baseball, free.
A standing ovation for Don Larsen. Don Larsen, as a batter, fouled out and sacrificed. It was an important sacrifice, for it got carried to second, where he eventually scored. Don was born in Michigan City, Indiana in 1929 and lives now in San Diego, California. So I imagine there are two cities in the United States just about coming to a standstill. Last of the eighth, 2-0 Yankees. Strike one. I imagine when the ninth inning comes, the nation will stop still. The Dodgers will have Perillo, Campanella, and Magley spot. 0-2. Down he goes. And everybody here at the ballpark is waiting to see him on the mound. That for Magley is his third strikeout. Hank Bauer has popped to short, bounced out third to first, and single to left. His single to left in the sixth drove in the second Yankee run. Strike one. One ball, one strike. One. High drive down the left field line, beginning to hook. Go foul upstairs. One and two. Fouled away. Magley has allowed 2 runs, 5 hits, struck out 3 and walked 2. Foul tipped and held. Bauer strikes out. 4 strikeouts for Magley. 2 down, last of the 8th. Here's Joe Collins. Bounced out third to first, struck out looking, and single to center. 1 for 3 today.
and 3 for 15 in the series. Ball 1. Ball 2. In there, 2-1. Fouled away. 2-2. Fouled away again. Count holds 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Last of the 8th, 2-0 Yankees. We'll be at Ebbets Field tomorrow. Airtime 12:45. Two and two. Down he goes, and Magley strikes out the side in the 8th inning. He now has 5 strikeouts. So at the end of the 8th inning, the score, the Yankees 2, the Dodgers nothing.
Do you really want a decent shave? Do you really want a decent shave? Then shave Gillette, with the blade and the razor by Gillette, shave Gillette.
Okay, so Sal Magley strikes out the side in the Yankee 8th, keeping the Dodgers within striking distance at 2-0. You heard the appreciative ovation from the Yankee Stadium crowd as Larsen came to bat in that inning, all of them by now aware that they are quite possibly sitting in on history. And when we come back on Larsen's perfect game, we'll hear him talk about his thoughts and emotions as he walked from the dugout to the mound for that fateful 9th inning on October 8th, 1956.
My first week home was great. We had a party, small party.
2 o'clock in the morning, they were waiting for me.
My niece was waiting for me at the airport with a sign, balloons.
There was a huge sign across my front house, and it said, "Welcome home, Megan."
They lifted me up on their shoulders, and
First week back, people just said thank you. They just said thank you.
A new generation of veterans is coming home. Make a difference for them at welcomebackveterans.org.
The swing of a bat, power, grace, intensity. 1 millisecond that can turn mortals into legends. It's Home Run Derby. Relive one of Yankee Stadium's last hurrahs with that historic battle between Josh Hamilton and Justin Murnau, and a record-breaking opening round that'll knock you off your feet. Home Run Derby 2008, next Thursday at 8 on MLB Network.
All right, so the 60,000 plus at Yankee Stadium are sensing that they may be sitting in on history here. They give you a very appreciative ovation, and you're at bat in the 8th.
I walked up there were some paper flying around down, made me more nervous, I didn't expect that. And I didn't do a very good job at the bat, but that wasn't my concern at that time.
Now, at this point, at this point, you're looking ahead to taking that ball in the 9th.
Oh, yes. Couldn't wait.
What was it like in the dugout? Did they give you the silent treatment? What was going on in the dugout?
They gave him the silent treatment. After the 7th inning, Mickey come in from center fielder, and I was just lounging around. I caught him. I bumped him, and I said, Mickey, look at the scoreboard. Wouldn't there be something? 2 more innings to go. And when I said that, the whole dugout got like a morgue. I sat at one end, and the rest of the guys sat there. It was like, if I'd have been on a teeter-totter, I'd have been whoop in the air. It was very uncomfortable. The only time I was happy when I was back on the mound. Nobody would say anything to me.
They wouldn't talk to you at all?
Nothing.
No, we didn't say a word.
So that was the superstition?
I guess it was.
And even among yourselves, not to him. Like you wouldn't say to Mickey or to Gil McDougall, hey, look what's going on here.
No, we didn't mention anything.
Well, I said to Mickey, I don't believe in jinxes. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen. That's the way I feel.
I caught a few of them going into late innings, then never happened.
So here was Sal Magley, by the way, finishing up a great effort of his own. He struck out the side in the bottom of the 8th.
Right.
So he did a great job.
He was tough.
Scores 2-0.
2-0.
Now, here we go to the 9th, and there's a couple of concerns. Like we said before, this is a World Series game. This is a very good team. They've got Furillo, Campanella, and a pinch hitter coming up. One guy gets on base, the tying runs at the plate, so you got the game and the perfect game to think about. How does that affect how you call the inning?
No, we went right along where we called what I thought was going best for him, and we used it.
I think a catcher's a manager on the field all the time. I don't care what club you're on. He knows what kind of stuff you got, if you got good control or bad, or the fastball's moving, or get the pitches over the plate where he'd like to have them. And I would have never done it if I didn't have such good control that day with Yogi.
All right, so now you walk to the mound in the 9th. I think as Vin Scully put it, he said, Yankee Stadium is shivering in its concrete foundations.
Me too.
You're pretty nervous at that point.
My legs were shaking. There's one I didn't faint.
Okay, so you know you got Furillo and then Campanella. You don't know who the pinch hitter's going to be. What are you thinking about? You faced Furillo, obviously, twice. What are you thinking about going after him in the 9th?
Just do what I've been doing. Try to throw the ball where Yogi wanted it. Because we had success, you know, why mess it up now? I certainly didn't want to. And everything worked out pretty good so far.
What was the book on Campanella? How did you pitch to Campanella?
Well, we threw breaking balls, fastballs, whatever was working good. He mixed his pitches up good. I called him, and he got him over. That was the main thing. I think it surprised them, too, him having that kind of control that day. He did. Anything I called, he got over, and then in the right spots.
The pinch hitter turns out to be Dale Mitchell. He's a guy who's a .312 career hitter. He's toward the end of his career at this point. He's a .312 career hitter, though, and he never strikes out. He struck out 119 times in almost 4,000 career at-bats. He never strikes out. So he settles into the batter's box. There he is. You're 1 out from winning the game. You also have to know at this point, you're 1 out from a place in baseball history that will never fade.
Oh, it's a wonder I didn't faint. I had a little break there. I think I went turned to center field, took my hat off, and I said, "Little man upstairs, please get me through one more."
You must have known that Don was nervous, but you didn't go to the mound when Mitchell came to the plate.
I didn't.
I never talked to him the whole game.
Really? He never went to the mound once?
No.
No. No, he always sat on the other side. I always sat by the...
It was getting lonesome.
And never lonelier than in that 9th inning. You're standing on that bump, 64,000 people watching, millions more watching, the eyes of baseball history on you. You're all alone.
Well, it seemed like when Babe called strike 3, it seemed like the world left my shoulders. You know, I could finally take a deep breath and, oh boy, it's over, finally.
Well, you know, look how long we've been playing this game. There's never been a no-hitter in the World Series, and he pitches a perfect one. So how good could it be? A lot of people ask me, well, what is one of your biggest thrills? The no-hitter.
Here we are 52-plus years later, still talking about it. So now, all of you folks settle in while Don Larsen and Yogi Berra take a look at the 9th inning as called by Vin Scully. The announcers worked solo then, so Mel Allen did the first half of the game, and Vinny is doing the second half of the game. Scully's just a young guy himself, 28, 29 years old. Here he is calling this momentous moment. 9th inning, Furillo, Campanella, and Dale Mitchell. 3 outs from perfection for Don Larsen. Here it is.
Well, all right, let's all take a deep breath as we go to the most dramatic ninth inning in the history of baseball. The Dodgers will send up Carl Furillo, Roy Campanella, and then we'll see about Mangley Spot. The first man is Furillo. He is flied to right and popped out to second. 0 for 2 and 5 for 17. Foul back. And the crowd here at Yankee Stadium, 64,517, will be roaring on every pitch. Fouled away. 0-2. Ball one. High foul off first. Collins coming over. He has no play. Another foul, twisting down the right field line, carrying back into the crowd. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Carl Furillo. High fly ball to right. Hank Bauer is there, waiting. 1 out. Roy Campanella struck out looking and popped out to Billy Martin. He is 0 for 2 and 4 for 14. Line down the line. bed and coming back downstairs. 0-1. And the Dodger bullpen, grumbling and growling and waiting. Bouncer down towards Billy Martin. 2 out. I think it would be safe to say that no man in the history of baseball has ever come up to home plate in a more dramatic moment. That man is pinch hitter Dale Mitchell. Yankee Stadium shivering in its concrete foundation right now. Ball 1. 2 out in the 9th inning. The Yankees 2, Brooklyn nothing. But this ball game is right there on your screen, Mr. Don Larsen. Strike 1. And the crowd is roaring now, similarly to the day when Johnny Padres stood out there last year. But there is so much more at stake this afternoon. And now there is 1 strike left. Fouled away, just to increase the tension. So hats off to Don Larsen. No runs, no hits, no errors, no walks, no base runners. The final score, the Yankees 2 runs, 5 hits, and no errors. The Dodgers, no runs, no hits, no errors, in fact, nothing at all. This was a day to remember, this was a ball game to remember, and above all, the greatest day in the life of Don Larsen, and the most dramatic and well-pitched ball game in the history of baseball. Mel, you've seen a lot of ball games. This one you can put in your ring and wear it for a long time.
Well, Vinny, I've had the good luck of watching Johnny Vanderveer's 2nd consecutive no-hitter over in Brooklyn. Allie Reynolds' 2 no-hitters in 1 season. I saw Virgil Truck's 2nd no-hitter pitched against the Yankees in 1 season. I saw Bob Feller pitch a no-hitter against the Yankees here. Vinny, I don't think you or I will ever see such a thing again.
No, I guess we can both say that we can go now.
And there it is, one of the most iconic photos in the history of sports. Don Larsen, moments after the perfect game. Yogi Berra leaping into his arms. You said you didn't speak during the whole game. He didn't waste any time getting to you when it was over.
Oh, no.
He got me good.
If I fit in his arms real good then.
Was your mind blank at that point, or were you thinking anything in particular?
Well, if it wasn't, it was after Yogi jumped on me, yes. Yes, it was. Sometime, nobody has to tell me, you know, what happened. I think about it every day, more than once, maybe several times.
Every day of your life?
Oh, yeah, and I ask myself every day, why, or did it ever happen? Sometimes I don't believe it happened, but I know it did. I know I was there. But it's a very good feeling. But I do that every day.
As Vin Scully said then, I mean, it was easy enough to surmise, even though you're only in your 20s, you're never going to have a better day than this, the greatest day in your life. Now, as you move up on 80, that is still the day that defines your entire life.
I'm glad I was part of a little bit of history. And it makes me proud. The thing that I think about often, I miss a lot of my fellow teammates, and even the Dodger, who are gone and left us not to be able to enjoy the participation in what they did too for the game. I think about that quite a bit.
A remarkable thing occurred at Yankee Stadium a few years ago where they commemorated the perfect game and they reenacted the last pitch and Don threw it and you caught it, and then you go upstairs and David Cohn goes and throws a perfect game.
Yeah, I threw the opening pitch to Yogi. You know, started off and I went over and shook David Cohen's hand, just wish him good luck. And as time went on, we were asked to stay. You know, the Yankees, they scored like, what, 3 or 4 runs in one inning, and then it rained about a half hour, and I was a little concerned about Dave Cohen coming back, but he came back and handled him magnificently. And I think that's the first game since my active career that I ever saw a whole game.
Really?
Yes.
From start to finish in person?
Yeah, I got stuck at a good time.
So basically, if it's not going to be a perfect game, you don't show up.
Right.
How much were you able to cash in on it, if that question isn't too crass? And ball players didn't make a whole lot of money then.
Well, my most exciting time was I was on the Bob Hope show. I really enjoyed that. That was fun. And of course, you know, meeting him and stuff was a thrill. And all the people were on there, you know, Desi and Lucy and Vivian Vance and Bill Frawley, James Cagney, Dinah Dores. Wow, man, I was living in high cotton.
I didn't know this until the other day because, you know, when you watch the kinescope, they didn't have all the cameras that they have now. So they didn't have a camera in the bullpen to pick up everything going on. Whitey Ford, you're pitching a perfect game.
Yeah, he was up
but for 2 or 3 innings, Whitey Ford is warming up in the bullpen.
Yeah, he never saw any of the last 3 innings. He was working, you know, lobbing getting ready in case I got in trouble.
When you went out there, though, 8th inning, 9th inning, Yogi's not talking to you. None of your teammates are talking to you. Stengel doesn't say anything. You're on your own, right?
It felt like that. But after, I don't know what I felt. Like I was saying, I didn't know it was a perfect game until somebody told me in the clubhouse after. And then I found out that what Charlie Robertson, like 30-some years before that, had pitched one for the White Sox.
Against the Tigers when Ty Cobb was with the Tigers.
I didn't know it was a perfect game. I knew it was a no-hitter.
You did not know that you had thrown a perfect game?
No.
That's what he said.
Wait a minute. You did not know. You knew this was when Yogi jumped into your arms.
Yeah.
You knew it was a no-hitter.
Right.
You didn't know it was a perfect game.
I did not know what a perfect game was.
But you knew no one had reached base.
Yes, I did, but I still.
So you just didn't know the definition of a perfect game.
Get the drift together.
Yeah. Because the truth is, like you say, there had been no hitters, and since your perfect game, there have been a handful of perfect games pitched.
Yeah.
But there had not been a perfect game in the major leagues since 1922, and obviously no film existed of that, no radio broadcast.
Right.
So you were just thinking this was an extra good no-hitter.
Yeah. I did.
The term perfect game didn't pop into your head.
No, it did not. And then, of course, everything, you know, the headlines and stuff were like that. But then it dawned on me then, you know, after the series was over, what happened.
Last thing. So you say you think about it several times every day of your life.
Yeah.
But today, you saw the whole game.
Right.
So it's a different day.
I know. I was working the game. I never had a chance to see any part of it, you know.
But if you had done
all I saw was Yogi all day.
I think you can leave here with a copy today.
Maybe.
That's my prediction.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations again.
Bob, nice being with you.
Don Larsen, Yogi Berra. And we will be back to wrap things up in just a bit. You're watching the MLB Network.
Pastime goes full-time. MLB Network, your new 24/7 television home for Major League Baseball. MLB Network is proud to present the definitive epic of America's pastime.
Baseball is a beautiful thing. The choreography of the sport, the pace and rhythm of it.
Baseball, directed by award-winning documentarian Ken Burns. Every Tuesday, the acclaimed series that brings the greatest players and the greatest moments of the game to life in a way that you've never seen before. We live the triumphs.
There's a new home run champion of all time, and it's Henry Aaron.
The tragedies.
I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
And the celebrations of the game.
Here comes Knight, and the Mets win it.
And every week, Ken Burns shares new personal insight in an exclusive interview.
It is the American game.
Ken Burns is Baseball, every Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern on MLB Network.
Don Larsen's perfect game gave the Yankees a 3-2 lead heading back to Brooklyn. In Game 6, the teams went scoreless through 9 innings in a matchup between the Dodgers' Clem Labine and the Yankees' Bob Turley. Then in the bottom of the 10th, Junior Gilliam walked, was sacrificed to second, and then driven home on a 2-out game-winning hit by Jackie Robinson. It turned out to be the final hit of Robinson's career. For Game 7, Yankee manager Casey Stengel turned to right-hander Johnny Cooks over his ace, Whitey Ford. Stengel was leery of using the lefty Ford against the predominantly right-handed hitting Dodger lineup in the bandbox of Ebbets Field. It turned out to be a good move by Stengel. Cooks threw a 3-hitter. Meanwhile, Yogi hit a pair of home runs off Don Newcomb, and the Yankees reclaimed the World Series championship from Brooklyn with a 9-0 win. Over the last 3 games of the series, Yankee hurlers Larsen, Turley, and Cooks combined to allow only a measly 7 hits. Now, what happened after the 1956 Fall Classic? In a nutshell, the Dodgers played one final season in Brooklyn before moving to Los Angeles, taking the New York Giants with them to the West Coast. While the Brooklyn Dodgers had won the World Series only once in their long history, the LA Dodgers won it 3 times in their first 8 seasons in California. The Yankees, meanwhile, continued their dominance, taking the American League pennant 7 times in the next 8 seasons. There have been a couple of 100 World Series games played since 1956, and the closest anyone has come to a perfect game was Boston's Jim Lonborg in 1967. In Game 2 at Fenway Park, Lonborg retired the first 19 Cardinals before surrendering a walk to Curt Flood in the 7th and later a double to Julian Javier in the 8th. As for our 2 guests tonight, Yogi Berra played with the Yankees through 1963, then became their manager in '64. He was elected to the Hall of Fame in 1972. As for Don Larsen, Game 5 didn't exactly springboard him to superstardom. The Yankees gave him a $1,000 raise for 1957. And although he pitched another 9 seasons after the perfect game, his record beyond 1956 was this: 51 wins, 51 defeats, the very definition of mediocrity. But for one day, he was perfect. And that one day defined his career and his life. Thank you for watching MLB Network presents All-Time Games, Game 5 of the 1956 World Series.